Okay, aloha siblings. My name is Bill, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. And I'm going to pursue a little bit of shameless self-promotion. So I guess starting with my W.C. Postman channel, which is where I do vlogish stuff. My slogan for myself there is that I am the atheist anarchist advocating agape. It's where I talk about politics, religion, and just whatever nonsense happens to be in my head. There's not a lot of videos there, but and I haven't put anything new in a while. Yeah. Anyway, my third channel is 3 Monks in a Tub, and that is a music channel. Again, there's not a whole lot of stuff over there. I'm hoping to be putting more stuff up there soon. But yeah, if any of you have been following me for any length of time, you know that I am pretty bad at time management. But I'm trying to get better. Okay, so I guess a bit of an explanation is due to. Oh, wait a minute. For the 2 channels, hopefully that's not coming through. The links for the 2 channels should be down in the description, in case you're curious about checking that stuff. And also, I guess if I'm doing shameless self-promotion, please subscribe, hit the bell notifier thing, do some comments, please share with your friends. I think the last 2 are the ones that are most effective for helping the channel out. So commenting and sharing with people. There's that, was it Breck or somebody like that back in the 70s? It was a shampoo, hair care products, I think it was shampoo, conditioner, whatever. But the thing was, tell 2 friends, and then they'll tell 2 friends, and so on, right? And so there's what's the word I'm looking for? Exponential growth, right? It's like powers of 2 thing going on, right? All right. Well, anyway, you get the idea. So there I've hopefully appeased the YouTube algorithm gods. Okay, again, I'm hoping that's not coming through too bad. So I'm doing this with this oddball, cheap sort of headset thing. Because, well, twofold. One is the people upstairs have been just relentless in being noise. I mean, they're family and all of that, but still they can, well, whatever. They are not obligated to live their life at my convenience, but it is an odd thing that I did mention to somebody in the house that I was going to be recording tonight, and whenever I mention that I'll be recording to anybody in the house, I can pretty much count on the fact that the people upstairs are going to be making noise. You know what I mean? To the place that it absolutely screws up my recording process. So I guess I just have to, because when I don't say anything to anybody, more often I don't get the noise. So I guess I just have to never mention it to anybody. It's hard for me not to think that they're, consciously or subconsciously, either way, sabotaging me. But, I don't know, maybe it's silly thinking thoughts. But anyway, the other thing about doing the silly headset thing is that I've had a few people be a little nostalgic about my older material, because it was certainly a bit of a lo-fi kind of thing going on. And So I decided, let me kill two birds with one stone, I suppose. So I'm doing this lo-fi thing, and hopefully it'll satisfy people's desire for that kind of old school lo-fi thing. The downside is it's stereo. I mean, it's not stereo. It's mono. So there's no ear-to-ear thing. I can do whisper, of course, but it's just going to be center channel, right? Yeah, I mean, I suppose I could do some weird things in post with like panning, but I doubt I will, because ultimately when I finish with all my silly babbling here at the beginning, I'm going to be doing a CD show and tell. So, alright, on to the CDs. And this is going to be the penultimate CD show and tell. There's one more stack in the box that I've been emptying into another box. And so there's this one, and then the last one. And then there's some more stuff in the box, but it's like DVDs and I think some paperback books. So I don't know, I may do those too, who knows, I'll take a look at them, so there might be a show and tell about that, but it also might just be crap that I just end up getting rid of, I don't know. Anyway, so, first CD, oddly enough, well, here it is, I'll show it to you. Alright, so it's Black Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. But it's not in the Black Sabbath box. Obviously, there's no door for it, and it's actually for, well, it's not Black Sabbath, it's, what was it? Creole Kings of New Orleans, Volume 2. But anyway, I don't own that album. I don't know where this box came from, but it does house my copy of Black Sabbath. Let's try and show that one more time without being too glary. There we go. Alright. Well, hopefully this doesn't get too choppy with the edits, but well, we'll see. It seems like this mic isn't picking up too much of the noise from upstairs, so I guess I will find out in the post, right? Okay, the next CD is by a band called the Butthole Surfers. To the best of my knowledge, they're from Texas. They're pretty provocative. They're, I don't even know how to categorize them. They're really their own thing. Yeah, they're just, this album is called, well, I never know how to pronounce it, Piode or something like that. It's spelled Piouhgd. Alright, anyway, here's the cover again so you can get an idea. I'll show you the back. Yeah, and I suppose, can I read these? Maybe I need to put on my other glasses. I'll do that. I'll put on my other glasses if I can put them on. Anyway, I suppose for content length I might read the track list. I mean, if you're not familiar with them, it probably will be meaningless, but it'll add some time padding onto the video, won't it? So, the first is Revolution Part 1, followed by Revolution Part 2. I might as well hold up the cover while I'm doing this, right? Lonesome Bulldog 2, The Hurdy-Gurdy Man. Okay, we'll give this a go again. I think I was talking about some of the tracks on here, fourth one is the Hurdy-Gurdy Man, and which is it's a cover of the Donovan tune. The song after that is called Golden Showers. Then there's Lonesome Bulldog 3, Blind Man, No, I'm Iron Man, followed by Something, followed by PSY, excuse me. Lonesome Bulldog 4, and the last track, the 13th track, right? Yeah, is Barking Dogs, and it's got a little asterisk by it because it's marked as, what do they say? Bonus track CD only, right? So, okay. This next one is Tom Waits. This is Swordfish Trombone. Can you make that up okay? Yeah, okay. I like Tom Waits. He's a pretty interesting songwriter. Both musically and lyrically. His lyrics are pretty amazing in particular. I might as well read the track list on this too while I hold this upright if I can. Underground, Shore Leave, Dave the Butcher, which is instrumental, Johnsburg, Illinois, 16 shells from a 30-06, Town with No Cheer, In the Neighborhood, followed by Just Another Sucker on the Vine. It's also an instrumental. Frank's Wild Years, Swordfish Trombone, right, that's the title track. Down, Down, Down. Soldiers' Things, that's really kind of, it's really kind of a strangely heartbreaking song. I shouldn't say strangely, it's obvious why it is, but yeah, it's a moving song. Gin-Soaked Boy, Trouble's Braids, that's very good and interesting tune. And then Rainbirds is the final cut, and it's an instrumental. So that's Tom Waits' Swordfish Trombone. The next one is Japan. Here, let me get my fingers out of the way. That's Oil on Canvas. This is a live album. Japan is a very arty band. A lot of the arty, neuro, synth, like very extreme synth pop kind of. I don't even know who to compare them to, frankly. They're kind of their own thing. But their early stuff was more glam and very, very Roxy Music influenced. The singer of this band, David Sylvian, is super, super influenced by Brian Ferry of Roxy Music. It's okay. I mean, he's a good singer. I like what he does, but there's certainly an influence that's observable. Again, I'll just kind of read the track list just because. Okay. Oil on Canvas, Sons of Pioneers, Gentlemen Take Polaroids, Swing, Cantonese Boy, Visions of China, Ghosts, Voices Raised in Welcome, Hands Held in Prayer. The 9th track is Night Porter, followed by Still Life in Mobile Homes, followed by Methods of Dance, then Quiet Life, then The Art of Parties, Canton, followed at the last track is Temple of Dawn. There you go. In particular, just worth noting is the bass player, Mick Karn, he has a super unique style playing fretless, and he's very, very, he does a lot of that that you can, do with a fretless bass. The next is some jazz stuff. This is Don Cherry's band. Although, they just kind of have it as all four of the people named, but I think when I bought it, it was in the Don Cherry bin. But it's, so we have Don Cherry. Oh, here, I might as well hold this up so you can kind of see the cover. It's kind of cool. But it's Don Cherry on trumpet, Dewey Redman on tenor sax, Charlie Hayden on bass, and Ed Blackwell on drums. Don Cherry was the trumpet player for Ornette Coleman. And the first track on this is actually Lonely Woman, which is an Ornette Coleman track. I think that's on Shape of Jazz to Come. You'd think I would know all this stuff, as much as I like Ornette Coleman, I remember stuff like that, but I got a crappy memory to that kind of thing. In any case, if you're interested in some jazz that's not easy listening jazz at all, but it's, super creative, groovy stuff, this is a good thing. So, and just for a point of trivia, Don Cherry is Nena Cherry's dad, the girl that did, Buffalo Stance, that song from back in the day. Holy mackerel, I hope I don't have to stop again. Okay, so here's some more jazz, and this is a band called The Leaders, for a couple of reasons. Some of it's because these guys have all been leaders of their own bands, but they're also leaders in jazz and moving jazz forward, Lester Bowie was in Art Ensemble of Chicago, that kind of thing. Excuse me. Anyway, so we have Arthur Blythe. Oh, here, I might as well hold this up so you can see him. Arthur Blythe, Lester Bowie, Chico Freeman, Kirk Lightsey, Cecil McBee, and Don. Oh, I guess I should say the instruments, shouldn't I? Arthur Blythe is sax. Lester Bowie plays trumpet. Chico Freeman plays sax and clarinet. Also some vocals. Kirk Lightsey is piano. Cecil McBee is bass, and Don Moy is drums. And yeah, I actually got to see these guys in Berkeley, and it was a pretty amazing show. And it was at the what do they call it? It's an open air amphitheater. I don't know, is that coming through? For whatever reason, the name of the outside venue in Berkeley is escaping my memory, but okay, one more time. The next CD is some more jazz, but this will fall under the heading of, I guess, jazz fusion, really, right? It's with the band Weather Report, which certainly has some roots with Miles Davis, right? Anyway, here's the cover, right? I mean, they're like one of the seminal fusion bands, right? And more than just simple jazz rock fusion, they kind of bring in like world music and this kind of thing. And Omar Hakim is the drummer. Actually, let me double check the lineup on this, because there was some variation. But so I don't want to, but I'm pretty sure it's Omar Hakim on here. I don't know, did they ever have anybody else strum other than Omar? So Zawinul is the synthesizers, Shorter is sax, yeah, it's Omar Keem on drums, Victor Bailey on bass, and Minnow, I never had to say this name, Sinelu is percussion. And vocalists that appear on this album are Bobby McFerrin, Carl Anderson, Dee Bilson, and Alfie Silas. This is called Sporting Life. I think it was a pretty successful album for them. This is what, 80 something? 85, yeah. That's right, this is actually before I was married. Can you imagine that? Wow. Okay, we're going to leave the world of jazz for a sec. And this is Soundgarden, Down on the Upside. I think most people are probably familiar with Soundgarden. They're, one of the, I don't know what you, I guess hard rock, right? Grunge. I mean, they kind of were part of the grunge thing, but I think they transcend simple grunge in a bit. But I mean, that's certainly their roots out of the whole Seattle sub pop thing. Yeah, anyway, this is it. I guess I might as well read the track list just to, oh, you know what? Let's do this. Is that worth doing? How is that for tapping? I don't know. It seems like it might be okay. Again, there's no stereo grooviness to it, but that seems alright. I have to remember to mention that there's tapping in this in the title, because some people have complained about they don't care for the tapping, so I'm going to try to remember to label things that if there is tapping, you should see it in the title. Alright. Pretty Noose, Rhinosaur, Zero Chance, Dusty, Ty Cobb, Blow Up the Outside World, Burden in My Hand, Never Named, Apple Bite, Never the Machine Forever, Lighter and Lighter, No Attention, Switch Opens, Overfloater, and Unkind, and Boot Camp. Alright, anyway, so there's the cover. This one is, I don't know, I guess it's kind of an interesting shot on the inside, and plus you can see the CD there with the guys. Right, oopsie daisy, yep, there we go, try to go, right? And then look at the back, I don't know, that's pleasant artwork, it kind of suits the band, right? That's kind of the idea of album covers, isn't it? You want it to suit the band, get people to buy the record and so on. Okay, this is Lester Bowie, who is the trumpet player that was in the Leaders, the guy that I mentioned that was also a member of the Art Ensemble of Chicago. So there's a whole mess. I'm not going to go through all this. It's got a lot of too much information for me to sort through right now on the back. But it's jazz stuff, right? Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Move on. Okay. I think I'm going to try and do a little bit of that. Oh, this is let's show you the front. This is, I don't know if you can make out the title. This is the Butthole Surfers again. This one, what is the name? It's Locust Abortion Technician. What an unusual name. And that's just a creepy cover, right? That's just, yikes. And then that there, I don't know. But this has, oops. So there's a lot of interesting stuff on here. It's very, Yeah, and they're very kind of a lot of noise and a lot of craziness in their music. But the thing that's noticeable on this is there's a song it starts off with is Sweat Loaf, which is sort of a riff on Sweet Leaf, which is a Black Sabbath tune that's, about marijuana, cannabis. But they do it instrumental. But the notable thing about it is that it starts off with this thing at the very beginning where there's this affected voice that's, Daddy, and it's like, yes, son. What does regret mean? Well, son, it's better to regret the things you have done than the things you haven't done. Oh, and if you see your mother this weekend, tell her, Satan, 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 Satan. And then it goes into that dare, 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 with this totally exaggerated version of Sweet Leaf. It's pretty interesting. Here, let's do a little tapping again. Yeah, shall we? All right. This is Sonic Youth Dirty. This is, what is this, late 80s, early 90s? When is this one? 92. Okay, so early 90s. And I've only seen them once. It was at a venue at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. It was a pretty okay concert, but that room is not a good room. It's, the sound just gets something about the room is just, you leave and you're just, Sonic Youth is loud anyway, but the room was just way too harsh. So I would have preferred to see them in a different venue. But again, maybe it's just, maybe it was just them and I misunderstood what was going on. I don't know. But I've heard other things in that room too, and it's just not a good room, I don't think, anyway. Anyway, yeah, they're not your normal, they're a guitar-oriented band, but there's no hoodly-doodly-doodly solo-y type stuff that you would, like a Van Halen or Jimi Hendrix-ish sort of, there's none of that kind of thing on there at all. They're just really about big sound, like very, very big sound and that kind of thing. Anyway, Sonic Youth. Now here's a band. I think you guys have seen some of these already now that I think about it. Because I think they might have been in one of my older show and tell videos. So this might be all repetition to a certain degree. But anyway, here's Bad Brains. This is like my favorite album of theirs. It's just quickness. With the quickness. They're crazy. It's punk rock, it's reggae, it's metal, they're just a crazy, crazy band, man. They are their own thing and they kind of rule their little corner of the world. But I really, really like them. They don't get enough credit, I don't think, but they're one of those guys that way back in the day, they did an album where the singer phoned it in, literally, because he was in jail. I don't remember what album that is. I never owned it. A friend of mine had it, and he was always talking about it, because that aspect of it was the thing that got him all, worked up and excited. This is one of my favorite kind of punk things, although I think Killing Joke is more than just punk, but they're certainly part of that whole aggressive, very, sort of, well, not sort of, there's a lot of politics and angst and But this is a fantastic album. Killing Joke is a powerful band. Yeah, it's a great album. It's a great album. I might as well, let's do a little tapping and I'll read the track list. I'm going to do this so you can actually see me doing the tapping. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'll read the track list just to pad out the content, so to speak. The Hum, Empire Song. We Have Joy, Chop Chop. The Pandies Are Coming, Chapter 3. Have a Nice Day. Land of Milk and Honey, Good Samaritan, and Dregs. Okay, it doesn't seem like it's getting too noisy from upstairs, so... Did I speak too soon? I'm sure I've talked about this one before too, but anyway, we'll keep going. Because there's only this and one more, so... Let's do a little tapping, a little bit of tapping. That's really nice, I guess. I mean, I hope. Sounds good to me here, but I guess I'll discover if it's been successful in post, won't I? You know, I've been given the idea, I think I want to do something with this headset, kind of like trying to make it sound like the Pilots thing, you know what I mean, like, if you'll look out the left window, you'll see we're now passing by Fresno. Anyway, this is, Research. See the RE search. They did a lot of stuff. They do these kind of compilation CD things and albums and whatnot. But they also did a lot of what they called research guides, and they were on various topics from what was one that was really famous was the modern primitives. You know, people that live in modern society but are trying to, well, you just go get the book and read it, I guess. But they do these things, it's all very much about counterculture and stuff that's kind of rare, obscure, and challenging. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. You should go dig it, though. They do a lot of interesting stuff. But this is their incredibly strange music. And I'll talk a little bit about some of this because it's really... let's see, Busy Bee, that's an okay one. Sweet 16 is just a silly pop song about a girl Sweet 16 thing. It's a little creepy, really. Okay, one that's really cool is The Will to Fail by this woman, Katie Lee. And it's this whole song about, well, the will to fail, right, you know? So, yeah. There's this thing in the chorus line, it's something like, I've got a tiger by the tail, a tiger called the will to fail. Yeah. Anyway, the Minute Merengue, which is just a silly little thing. And there's an interesting version of Up, Up and Away. What is... oh, they do... there's a really, really interesting version of the William Tell Overture on here that's really just kind of crazy. You know, that... You know, the... most people recognize it as the Lone Ranger thing, if you're old enough to remember that. yeah, it's just really interesting stuff, and a lot of it is, it's not just interesting aesthetically, and because it's just kind of weird and not normal for pop culture. Well, it's normal for pop culture, but not normal for like top 40, that kind of thing. But a lot of it was came from that era of the in the 50s in particular, and even into the 60s, because a lot of recording techniques were being discovered during that time period, right? So some of these people were playing with that actual stuff, you know what I mean? And it was like low budget DIY creative experimentation with recording processes. So it's worth checking out. And the last one is one of my favorite albums, a good rock album. And again, this is Soundgarden. I really quite like Soundgarden. And Chris Cornell is a fantastic singer. I mean, he's among my favorite singers. I don't really have a favorite singer, you know what I mean? It's like I like Chris Cornell a lot as a rock singer. I like Robert Plant as a rock singer. Stuff like that. But I like, but Art Garfunkel is, an amazing singer, but it's it's a whole different ball of wax, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, you get the kind of the idea. It's like it's just different people doing different things, I guess. So I'll do a little bit more tapping, and then I'll wind this up and call it a done video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about the pilot thing. Because, right now it's just the germ of an idea, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, alright. Oh, let me read the track list for this. Actually, this is the album that really got me excited about Soundgarden. I mean, I'd heard their earlier stuff, the kind of sub-pop stuff, and I liked it a lot. But when this album came out, it was the song Loud Love, I guess is on here. Which one is that? That's... Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, I saw Loud Love on Headbangers Ball on MTV, believe it or not. And I just went, oh wait, Soundgarden, that's like a different thing from them. They've really, really got it together. You know what I mean? It was like, they were good before, but this was, at least in my mind, a big step forward for them. But that's my taste. Anyway, let's go through the track list just to pad out the content, so to speak. So, Ugly Truth, Hands All Over, Gun, Power Trip, Get on the Snake, Full On Kevin's Mom, Loud Love, I Awake, No Wrong, No Right, Uncovered, Big Dumb Sex, Full On Reprise. Yeah, it's a really good album. I really, really like this album. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this serves to satisfy the desire for those who wanted something along the more of the low tech kind of lo-fi sort of. Oh, I can put this down, can't I? Yeah, I hope this satisfies the desire for lo-fi. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Aloha, siblings.